What's up, everybody, and welcome in. My name is Bryce Koon alongside Shea, Dixon, and Matthew Brune as we get ready to rewind LSU's win over South Carolina. Before we get started, fellas, shout out to not only the people who came to the tailgate on Saturday. It wasn't morning, but around noon. Shout out to Cajun Cousins for hosting us. Great food, great atmosphere. We were talking about this elite spot, too, like a perfect spot from where we parked right there in view of Tiger Stadium. We had a good time, so thanks for the people on the message board and on social media for coming out and hanging out with us. We'll see if we can do another one of those pretty soon. But, fellas, let's kick it off here. LSU knocks off South Carolina 20-10. Brune and I had our final thoughts. Comment of the night was on the board from someone saying it sounded like we were the last helicopter out of Vietnam because we had helicopters and people cutting grass. It was just a wild, wild time. But
is Shane Beamer right down the road?
Shane Beamer, yeah. Brune kept calling on Shane Beamer to come on the show. It was just wild. But everyone heard us kind of give our initial thoughts on what we saw, what we witnessed inside Tiger Stadium on Saturday night. So, Shea, we'll kick it off to you to start things off here. Maybe your initial reaction. How are you feeling Saturday evening into Sunday morning about LSU's 20-10 win?
Yeah, I hung out in the Bengal Tiger live chat the entire time, and I think I made like 250 posts. So I'm delirious. I think I'm now in the mind of every LSU fan, which was riding a wave of up and down and up and down. At the end of it, Bryce and Matty B, correct me if I'm wrong. It just felt like one of those games that they were never going to lose. Like, you didn't ever feel like that, but it was close enough to where the turnovers, I think, is what you look back on and say, all right, that kind of thing can't happen. And it's not been incredibly characteristic across half the regular season now, but you know that if you get into it with a team that is better than South Carolina, right, and you're fumbling at the goal line and throwing a pick inside the 10, it's not going to go well for you. But golly, guys, the defense. I mean, I watched last night what y'all's reaction was, and we've shared a bunch on the Bengal Tiger, but we cannot overstate really at this point. I'm looking at the numbers. It's like 10 points every game. Bryce, we sat there before it. Last week we talked Matty B in the mailbag. Score more than 20 on anyone but like Lane and Bama and maybe A&M. I don't know. OU looked pretty bad. Mateer was hurt. But score more than 20 and you're good. Like, everybody's being held to 10.
Yeah.
And if you score 24, you win the game, evidently, like Ole Miss. So impressed by the defense, Bryce, for sure. And shout out to Matty B's boy, the Bengal Tigers MVP, trade as green, quote unquote, in Matthew's terms. It's that easy. Just throw it up to him, and he gets it every time. So very, very good game to see him come out and play well. And Kyle Parker with Aaron Anderson out. So I thought maybe I overhyped it in my mind, Matty B, on the mailbag and kind of looking into it. But I thought them not having Aaron Anderson was going to be like a really big deal for him. And not only did they not have Aaron Anderson, they didn't really even go to Barry and Brown. And they didn't really go to Nick Anderson. Never went to Bauer Sharp. It was sort of the Trades and Kyle Parker show.
Yeah, that's exactly what we talked about throughout the week. Trades was so important in that Clemson game, and you saw what they worked on throughout fall camp. Like, we were there. We saw them feature Trades Green continuously every time we were out there. We're like, okay, then Clemson happens, and you're like, yeah, this makes sense. And then he's hurt against Louisiana Tech, and they trotted him out there against Ole Miss. And you're like, okay, he's not really playing. And so this was our first real chance to see him since that Clemson game, and it's exactly where they picked off. I mean, this is why when he signed, I was like, this is such a different caliber of player than Kamorian Pimpton. Everyone's like, oh, just throw it up to Kamorian Pimpton. He's 6'6", all this stuff. I'm like, no, y'all don't understand. That is what a 5-star tight end looks like. That's what a real, incredible athlete that does everything on a basketball court, football field, it doesn't matter. That's what it looks like. You also saw it when he caught that slant, right? And he makes the guy miss, and he gets upfield for like 10 more yards. I'm like, that is a different caliber of player, and that's someone that's going to be playing on Sundays. And so that's why you have to feature him. Aaron Anderson being out only further highlighted that. I mean, Trades Green ends the game with 11 targets, and I thought it was just easy because he allows them to attack in different ways. They're not as predictable with Trades on the field, and so I think it's just huge for them. So credit to Trades, and I'm excited to see what he does moving forward.
I mean, they targeted 33 total times, I guess, or there's some counting it. See the box score. 17 of them were to Kyle Parker and Trades. So
yeah,
If you would have told me that's what I've talked about on the board, like Matty B said, going into it not knowing after the Ole Miss game where Trey'Dez really was, you figured he'd be healthier coming out of a bye, but how much would they use him? And boy, they just leaned all over those two guys. Like I would have been, it's one of those like before or after the game. Like if I told you that this happened, what would you have thought? And it was that Trey'Dez Green and Kyle Parker were the guys who like you really leaned on. I would not have thought like, oh, this was a game they should have scored like 30 something and nearly did. So shout out to both those guys. But yeah, Trey'Dez, God, Matty B, I didn't realize that. 8 catches on 11 targets for 119 and 1 is insane. But and Matty B's really heart hurts, I think, because Bryce, many other times y'all were calling for Trey'Dez more. He should have had 15, 16
It should have been more. I mean, Nuss doesn't have to throw an interception in the end zone. It's throwing a slant to Trey'Dez instead of throwing a damn fade ball to him.
Just put him in the slot, run the fade. It's one of those things with Trey'Dez Green, and you mentioned this, Brune, and I wanted to know, guys, your thoughts on this. And maybe we ask this, tomorrow or in the teleconference on Wednesday. You don't want to get too predictable, but it feels like Trey'Dez Green is something you can get predictable with inside the 10-yard line, and I don't know who's going to be able to stop that unless you have some type of 6'3" hybrid safety. I think like Kyle Hamilton, like playing safety.
Yeah.
I don't think there's this Kyle Hamilton in college football right now. So to both of you, I mean, we can talk scheme, we can talk all these type of things, but with Trey'Dez Green, how they utilize him in this game, I don't think you're going to get too predictable with him until they. What'd you call it, Brune? They give him the Calvin Johnson Megatron treatment in the red zone. Like, make them stop it multiple times. Like, if I'm inside the 10, I'm probably going to throw it to Trey'Dez Green 4 times. Like, at 4-down territory, 25% odds are out of those times you can hit 1 time. I mean, I don't think it's too predictable to throw it to 14 every time inside the 10.
And for those wondering what I mean when I say the Calvin Johnson, I'll share my screen real quick. Just to give a visual aspect. This is what I mean. This is what it's going to take to stop Trey'Dez Green. Again, unless you have a 6'3" plus corner out there. So, yeah, y'all can fix the format back to however we had it. But that was I had to make sure people understood what I said when I say you have to do that.
Yeah. Shea, do you think you get too predictable with it?
No, I never am this person. But it's like, I mean, tell me, Bryce, is being really predictable better than getting inside the 5 and 10 than not? Like Trey'Dez got him to the 1 multiple times and they could not punch it in from 1 to 3 yards out. Like we've talked about this after Clemson, as you noted, like the best play was just throw it to Trey'Dez and he'll get pass interference. It'll be incomplete or he'll catch a touchdown. One of those 3. I would just go that route. They can't do anything inside the 5 to 10 yard line, which is wild to me. And it's not like they line up in I form and run the same play. They ran like 4 very different looks. Nothing worked. So as we kind of laughed at, but we're serious about, it seemed like I would have just kept Trey'Dez in and kept going on that. But he's sitting on the sideline while defensive players are in the game, and O-linemen are changing their numbers on the sideline to come into the game to be extra blockers, and it doesn't quite work. So massive shout out. I don't care how predictable it is. Throw it to him until you stop him.
No, I'm with you. Let's take it here. Garrett Nussmeier. Shea, I'll go back to you. How do you feel like you looked? I felt like, look, we can nitpick decision making. We can nitpick the mental errors. Those are very real. From a physical standpoint, there are multiple throws, in my opinion, I believe I speak for Brune as well, where you're like, okay, he's getting that full trunk rotation. He's getting a little more zip on the football, especially some of those throws that were opposite hash throws that he made, I would say at least 3 on Saturday night, where you're like, okay, he's really letting it loose. What'd you think of Nussmeier's overall performance?
I mean, solid. 20 of 33 is good. The turnovers are just like the fumble at the 1 by Juwan Johnson, that almost feels like misfortune. Nuss's interception inside the 10 felt like something you had experienced a few times before, because you had. But beyond that, I'm totally with you. I thought he played more than well enough to win. You want to cut down on those turnovers. I mean, Matty B, remember when we used to talk about a year ago, like, oh, this is the gunslinger mentality. It just comes with it. Well, yeah, when you throw for 4,000 yards, but if you're not doing that, you really cannot afford these turnovers inside the red zone,
Yeah.
especially when you don't score more than really 20 points, once all year in 6 games. So I don't love that at all, but more than well enough to get sort of a nod of approval. Golly, I thought after Southeastern, we all agreed that he was healthy, and Ole Miss sort of scared me. It was like, wait, was that fool's gold? And then this, I'm back to, okay, I'm a little bullish on the offense again if Nuss can be at whatever he is right now.
I think I'm gonna say the interceptions are unacceptable, and of course dock him significantly and what the performance would have been, right? If you take away, even if it was only one interception, we would.
If you take away the goal line interception,
yeah,
I think
I don't even remember the other one. The goal line,
he overthrew Kyle Parker.
Into my brain.
Yeah. So the interceptions obviously dock him significantly here, but I will say this offense needs Garrett Nussmeier to be aggressive. Like we saw for 5 weeks what it looks like when he's not aggressive, when he's not comfortable, when they play passively. And so, yes, I understand that the interceptions are infuriating and it's a fifth-year quarterback. Ultimately, they shouldn't happen. They can't happen. But they need Nussmeier to throw the ball down the field. Like if this offense is going to reach the point where we need them to reach in order for them to get to the playoffs, they need Nussmeier to throw some of these balls that may be kind of risky at times. They're going to make, you have to keep the defense honest in a way. And I think it's going to be interesting to see moving forward. Like, again, throw to Chris Hilton. Like that's a game-changing throw. And that we did not see that for the first 5 weeks of the season. So that's really good. I think it's promising. And I leave this game at least hopeful that now, okay, they can push the ball vertically, which is what we've been waiting for. So the interceptions suck. He was 20-33 for 254, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. I don't know. It's like a B minus game from Nuss, but it's better than what he had been doing. That's for damn sure.
I'll say this too. You mentioned we all remember the throw to Hilton that should have been caught. Like we all agree that should have been caught.
I mean, that might have been his best throw of the whole season.
Oh my gosh. Well, what about and I believe it was first quarter, Brune. I don't remember if you clipped this one or not.
The Nick Anderson one.
The one, in the corner of the end zone, back shoulder, where that's a touchdown. Like in DB, did he push down on the receiver? Oh, maybe so. Did he make just a nice play? Whatever. But you're just talking about I don't think Nussmeier would have made the throw. You would have seen him look at it, maybe double clutch, and what we've all talked about, check down. Like that's probably what he would have done. The willingness to push the ball down the field. Shea, you said it right there. That throw to Chris Hilton, that's probably the best throw, maybe outside of the no catch, should have been a catch to Barry and Brown in the Clemson game for the touchdown. Like that throw to Chris Hilton was, I think we were all like, whoa, like, okay, that's Nussmeier in terms of letting it rip, letting it loose.
That's like anyone who shoots like 100 and over in golf, when you hit a good shot and it's like, oh, that sounded good. And then it looks good. And you're like, oh man, if I could only do that ever. Like that's how that throw felt. Like Bryce talked about it to lead off, like the throwing motion, the torque, everything that comes with this torso injury that may have hindered him. That throw just felt like it had some extra pop on it right when he let it go. And it just carried. And he didn't, you can't overthrow Chris Hilton, and he didn't underthrow him, hit him right in the breadbasket. But it's funny that we laughed through the pain. The best throw he's made all year was an incomplete pass. So fortunately they still won the game. But that I'm with Matty B. Maybe it's more so not even the injury, the reality that they will push that vertical game. And you had the article on it just 2 weeks ago, when it was what has he done beyond really what, Bryce? 15 yards?
It's not
nothing
anything
all year.
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing. I mean, I think
so I'm with Matty B. Yeah, it gives me hope that that can be in the future for him.
Yeah, I think I'm with you guys in the sense of I'm cautiously optimistic about what we saw on Saturday, and just the willingness. And Brune, you and I've talked about this a lot. Like, you have to give defenses a different look. LSU has not given any defense a different look all season long because they haven't been able to run the ball really effectively. They couldn't go vertical. Defenses knew what to expect. You probably won the Clemson game because they didn't know that you were going to throw so many screen passes, and like they did. But Louisiana Tech the very next week snuffed a lot of those out. It gives defenses a different look. I like what we saw out of that. And, man, if you can build off of that, that's exciting. Here's the kicker. Shea, you have been the king of the cost-benefit analysis so far on these live shows on Sundays. And so I will play moderator here.
I'm not going to fight.
Dylan Stewart is a elite football player. Like, we all can sit here and agree with that. Weston Davis had a bad day. Really, really bad day. I want to ask you this. Do you worry that the offensive line's issues could undermine our hope and excitement for Garrett Nussmeier? Because that's kind of the last piece here. We talk about running game in a second. They did pop some runs late in the game. The right side of the offensive line, it's not sure. And I know you're not going to be facing Dylan Stewart every single week, but we're 6 games into this, and it's an issue. It's not as good in terms of pass pro you were last year. Could it undermine? Are you worried that it could undermine any progress Nuss might make going forward?
I almost don't know if that. No. And I'm not going to say because I saw him throw for 4,000 last year with an O-line that did not have a run game, but because I think halfway through the regular season, we're not going to see any real change. So I have to just stay on what I know, and what I know is what I've seen, and I can couple the Nussmeier stuff with what I've seen from him a year ago, even if it's not 4,000 yards, and just feel good enough about it because of the defense and special teams. So whatever undermining, holding back that the O-line is doing, I think has already been done. Like, I'm not sure it could get so much worse for them where it's like, oh my God, like Nuss has been sacked 10 times or something. It's like what we've seen, I think, is what we're going to get. And could they have better play there if they had someone, if Karis Kern was at right tackle, or even DJ Chester? Like, I don't know, probably, but I'm not sure at the end of the day I dock them that much, because I don't know how much better one spot makes them. As you noted, if pass pro isn't good, that's just not on one guy. And so I said, I don't know if I should make this about one person, but yes, Dylan Stewart's great.
Yeah.
But don't you play a good D end every single week?
You do.
Aren't they their best player on your right tackle every single week?
A&M. Yeah.
Think about it. I mean, Matty B's talking about this point. Like, okay. Like, so yeah, I'm good. If they've made it this far, I just have to presume that Nuss can keep himself alive back there by just kind of getting rid of the ball quickly.
Well, he almost needed assistance multiple times to get off the field.
Oh boy, here we go. Matty B, you take the wheel, because the board and everyone thinks that every Nuss play is I'm injured, but they hit me in the shoulder, but my leg hurts, and now this.
I mean,
I likened it. Bryce, our local baseball resident analyst and player, as the youth league kid who wears the helmet like already off a little bit, so that when you run the bases and slide, it falls off naturally. It looks really cool when you're like 8 to 10 years old. So I kind of feel like that's like if
Bryce was doing that in D3.
No doubt, that's a common Berry College experience, but I don't know. That's how I kind of figure it. Matty B, what are we thinking here with the whole Nuss experience of as the Nuss bus driver here?
Yeah, I struggle to say that he's a wimp, as some people will call him, but definitely I like the aesthetic of it. Every time he gets touched, or it's like, and then the run that he had, the 23-yard run that he had, Bryce and I start cracking up.
I'm dying
because
he looks like a small child running away.
He runs forward, and then instead of just sliding or something, he like turns towards the sideline and almost starts running parallel, like to the sideline to try to not get touched, and then he falls down eventually. It's like contact is not his friend in any regard. So that's nothing new. But it's definitely, he took some hits, man. He the third down
hits he took were those runs, and then when they just laid on him afterwards, full body weight.
He had the one where the linebacker came in free right up the middle on third down. He was pressured 12 times, did not take a sack. Again, we know Nussmeier typically does a good job not taking sacks. I mean, based on, again, last year, he was one of the best in the country at that. So it's just, I thought they struggled at times with pass protection, which we knew going in Stewart was going to be a problem, but they tried helping Weston Davis. It didn't matter how much they chipped. Weston Davis was just turnstile the entire game. So it's hard. It's hard to game plan when you just have one guy on the end that's going to just let their defensive end just get to the quarterback in 2 seconds every time. So, but overall, I mean, I looked at the PFF grades. Braylon Moore had a really good pass blocking grade, but Cohen Eccles had actually a worse pass blocking grade than Weston Davis, allowed 4 pressures. I didn't watch Cohen Eccles as intently as Weston, so I'll have to go back and see that, but those were the two that were like in the red in terms of PFF.
Last on offense, run game, fellas. They broke a couple in the third and fourth quarter. So I think I tweeted you had a sequence where Caden Durham gets a 12-yard run or whatever. Then Nussmeier has the back-to-back runs, and we're like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a run game. Is this what a run game is like? And in all seriousness, should I go back to you? I mean, is this just an example of you keep beating your head against the wall against a defense that had to stay on the field for as long as they did? You're going to break some late in the game?
Yes, but I'll try to be more positive than that, I guess. So
yeah.
I would look. Yeah, there you go, Matty. I would look at that in the light of like Juwan Johnson. Well, he gets you 66 yards, okay, and he's like your DB turned wide receiver. How many positions, Matty B? I don't know. He played a million.
4.
5 for 66 with a long of 56. So that's like one of those like hidden Caden Durham like earlier in the season game, like Florida, where it was like, oh yeah, he rushed for whatever. It's like, well, yeah, like everything but 8 yards of it was on the last play. And Juwan fumbled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Garrett had a couple of big runs, but you're not getting that every game. Harlem starts the game and ends with 4 carries for 2 yards. And the only other player who got carries was the quietest of 15 for 70 games with a long of 23. So it wasn't like there was a long of 67 in there and the other 14 went for 3 yards. I don't know, Bryce, you're more used to watching in recent memory good run games than we are. So you tell us.
I don't even know what it looks like anymore.
I wouldn't know. I didn't know Caden Durham played till I saw this 15 for 70 after the game when I studied the box score. God. No, I'm kidding. But really, right? I mean, if I would have told you Caden Durham went 15 for 70 with a long of 23, you'd have been like, oh boy, they were cooking.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm with you.
Real quick, Bryce. I just what I said last night on the pod. It's like we don't expect them to be consistent offensively in terms of running the ball.
No.
But if they can pop a few 20-yard runs a game, that changes everything. Like for if they run the ball 25 times, if 20 of those go for 40 yards, but the other 5 go for a combined 80 yards, like it's just that you have to stick with it to the point where you're going to break a couple, because you do have some athletes, right? We know Durham, we know Johnson, we know Barry can break a couple. So that's my hope, is that they just stick with it and eventually you'll pop one like we saw Juwan do, like we see about once a game.
Matty B, it worked out. I think at least if I'm reading this right, my math is along for Durham 23, Juwan 56, Nuss 21, a perfect 100 of your 166 yards came on the biggest play for each of them.
Yeah. And so, those 3 combined for 100, the other 27 combined for 66. But again, that's the point. We would all say that's a positive rushing performance for them. They're never going to be, because they're not going to ground and pound teams to death. And so I do think it's a positive. The last thing I'll say is they still need to. And what is the most damning and why it frustrates people still a little bit is because, you have to be able to punch it in the red zone. Again, Trade Green is the cheat code. I love it. Throw it to them, yes. But Jesus, they're at the 1-yard line. Punch it in. Like a Louisiana Tech, punch it in. South Carolina, punch it in. You got to be able to get those hard yards, and they just can't.
Yeah. Shea, any final thoughts on maybe that goal line sequence?
No, I don't want to think about it again. I do think that I don't even think red zone, because they've been good in the red zone, right? Like this year, yes, maybe not all touchdowns, but you're getting points and all that. But like when the field shortens so much, Bryce, down to inside the 5, like you start to feel worse about it than you would if they were at like the 25. You'd be like, I feel pretty good. They got like room to work with here. They get down there, and like I said, even when they try a variety of things, it doesn't work for them. And it didn't a year ago, so they just that bad at run blocking? And I guess the answer is yes. I mean, Matty B, you clicked one of them, but like Juwan Johnson had to juke a dude at the 4-yard line or whatever just to get back down to the goal line area
Before fumbling. Yeah.
and it's like, how is that even a possibility that someone gets that much pressure that quickly? So
Yeah.
and
First play
it's
of the
like one of
game,
those
right?
things. I think, yeah, God, wait, what? The first
Play of
what?
the game, Dylan Stewart shakes. I think it was Weston Davis, and
Oh,
it's
Yeah,
like
but
a
he's
3 or
talking
4
about
yard loss.
he's
He's talking
talking
about the
Juwan
goal line, but I'm
Johnson
saying
fumble,
like they just get in the
yeah, they did it a couple times. So it's boom or bust, but that's what I think this offense has to kind of become at this point because they just haven't been consistent enough. You have to be able to hit some explosives in the run, because they weren't hitting any explosives through the first 4 weeks of the season. They were one of the lowest explosive rate teams in the country, just throwing screens and trying to run the ball and praying. But now it seems like they can hit a couple.
Yeah. Was that Brian Kelly's not exact quote, but he was like, hey, that's not who we are, like pounding teams. So like Matty B's right. I think if you just are reserved enough to just say, hey, if a couple guys can pop some long runs, then that's all I can ask for at this point. Then you'll be pleased. Like with 166 yards with 100 of them coming off of 3 runs by 3 different people, including Garrett Nussmeier.
Because, hey, all they got to do is score 20. That's all they got to do.
We just don't even need to do any writing or podcast. We just post every week. If they score 20 points, more than 20, they'll win. If not,
except Ole Miss game, that don't count. The rest
I don't
of
know
them,
what I'm going to do when I see a 3-0. Like I don't, that's going to
pop
throw
some
me
champagne in the office. Will they do it against Western Kentucky? We will find out.
I feel like we did put them under the microscope very much. And Bryce, I don't know what the rest of the agenda here holds because the defense obviously deserves so much praise.
Yeah.
But this was truly one of those games where I feel like when you talk about in your head, like, well, if they would have just not fumbled at the 1 and not thrown a pick inside the 10-yard line and not settled for a field goal at the end to make it 10 points from the 3-yard line, that it could look totally different. Like they were like a combined 9 yards away from making this a 30-something 10 game.
Yeah.
So I do think that we need to at least acknowledge the offense. Like people got onto us for saying that we felt better about the offense after last night's game than we did after Ole Miss. Like I feel way better about it than I did after Ole Miss. They weren't doing never in your head at Ole Miss were you adding up points that they almost could have had. This one, in reality, you definitely should have scored 20-something, if not 30 in this game.
I'm with you. And I think that's a good point. Like, I don't like that cop out in terms of like how often people use it, but truthfully, like watching this game, you're like, they were in control. We've talked about this, Brune. We can flip it to the defense, but
they finished with 420 yards.
Yeah, I mean, like
that's good.
20-10 is not indicative of how dominating LSU was, and a lot of it was defense. Before we get to defense, though, we got to talk about something that's pretty dominating, and it's going to be, will it be Brune's Spurs or Pelicans in 2 weeks as we go down there? I think we're going down there, and we're going to be using Game Time.
Hope so.
Tigers, $20 off. Make sure you use that. Brune is cautiously optimistic about his San Antonio Spurs, and a lot of stuff happening with the camera. That was
trying to get this.
That was a lot.
Here.
Audio listeners are completely confused.
I know,
but anyways, make sure you check out our friends over at Game Time. You can use code Tigers for $20 off today. Sporting event, comedy shows, concerts, whatever you want to utilize those for. Make sure you use it. Helps us out. Helps them out. And it's great for you as well to get a good deal on some great tickets. Defensively, Shea, I'll just start it with here, man. We talked about this. Like, South Carolina moved the ball until about the opponent's 40-yard line, 30-yard line, and then it was penalties. Shout out the crowd. Like, it was just self-inflicted wounds, lack of play calling. Yeah. Like, how about the 4th down throw, the hitch route, and you go and target Mansour Delane? Like that's like, I don't know. And you know, South Carolina fired their offensive line coach today. So that was some news that was coming out of Columbia. Regardless, just defensively, is it just like same tune? Like Delane's good. This defensive line is pretty good. They did sustain some injuries, but they kept battling in. I asked Kelly the question afterwards, like, did you expect pretty much what you saw to Lenore Sellers? He's like, yeah. He said, but I felt like he felt us. Like, we obviously have got to tackle better. We've obviously got to do X, Y, and Z better, but he wasn't able to set his feet and throw, which Brune and I talked about in that preview podcast. That's what Shula and company had been trying to get him to do before that Kentucky game. Like, he was really sitting in the pocket. Go back to the Missouri game. He was slinging the ball around. So he wasn't able to do that. You made him improvise. That's also scary, but for the most part, man, There's a lot of bark, maybe no bite from Lenore Sellers, and credit to LSU's defense, in my opinion.
I usually only tell Maddie B this, but Brian Kelly, they felt us. That's heavy talk. He's talking heavy on a Saturday night. Lenore, they felt us. One, how are you throwing Mansour Delaney like twice in the most critical moment? I say it all the time. If you remind me that he's on the team, because I forget that he's on the team until you decide to throw his way, that's your fault. And they decided in the most clutch of moments to throw at a guy who's worked his way probably into one of the top corners taken in the draft.
I mean, round one consideration. Yeah,
without a doubt. You forget he's even out there because they just don't. Like Lane Kiffin said, they weren't even throwing it. That was like half the game plan was just don't even throw over there.
Yeah.
And that stands out at the end of the game, obviously. I'll sum up the defense so easily. 72 plays, and they only scored 10 points, and the touchdown came on a 75-yard run where a couple guys took bad angles. Like, what else do you want? I mean, they were on the field 72 plays, gave up 10 points, and the only touchdown was on a one-play drive, basically. I think it was a one-play drive.
Brune?
I was just looking through some of the advanced stats, and Lenore Sellers dropped back to pass about 40 times in this game. And PFF tracks pressures. And do y'all want to guess how many pressures LSU logged in this game?
17.
24.
That's how many Jack Pyburn had alone right there.
24. Yeah, this is
that a
and
record?
obviously you can get multiple pressures on like each snap, so it does.
Okay.
Different. Like it's not 24 out of the 40 were pressured per se, but regardless, I see why South Carolina fired their offensive line coach. It was not going into the game. We completely, I think, assessed this exactly right. Like I had them scoring 13 points. Most of us had them scoring somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
This was never going to be one of these 5 or 6 toughest tests of this defense. South Carolina does not have the receivers that can hurt them, does not have the offensive lineman that can block them, and did not have the run game. Albeit the run game got going a little bit there, but it was all Lenore Sellers, and we knew that going into the game. He tried to be Superman. He tried to put the cape on, and he did it a couple times. I mean, that guy, I said Taylor Green should have transferred. I guess he should have transferred too to somewhere that had an offense, but because they got no one else around him. But I actually think he played pretty well considering the situation that he's in. But yeah, the defense had no problem.
What do we say? That was an arm punt, right? Like
he threw it up, and Cooley made a great play getting over there and stuff.
Yeah.
It was 3rd and 20. He threw it up 45 yards and whatever. But yeah, I just think this was exactly what we expected this defense to do. So tip of the cap. Let's go get ready for Vanderbilt.
Before we talk Vandy, injury-wise, Jamari Butler heads to the locker room. We knew you were kind of thin coming in at edge rusher in terms of what you would have loved to have with obviously Relaford in the sling and having surgery. Shea, we're going to hear more. Obviously, that's going to be something big. Will be asked in Monday's press conference about the health and status of him. Bernard Gooden also heading back. Brune and I talked about, like, you lose arguably your top pass rusher from the interior in Bernard Gooden in this game. And then you lose Jamari Butler, who I think has been, I would say, maybe a pleasant surprise for LSU fans and what he's been able to do. Patrick Payton's a dude, I'll tell you that. Like, I love watching Patrick Payton. He's going to be on my stock up report. But with Payton and then obviously Pyburn having to get a lot more snaps, what to you is there any, like, oh man, I mean, obviously it sucks, but is it a cause for concern when you see that Butler head to the locker room?
That part doesn't move the needle for me any more than losing Gabriel Relaford did, right? Like, you're back up at a DN spot, and we know what Pyburn can do. We've seen Patrick Payton. I mean, Relaford went out before that Ole Miss game. Patrick Payton had an amazing game, and then he has a bye week, comes out and just is on fire again, picks up where he left off. So he's showing why he was the ACC Freshman of the Year a few years back at FSU. The Gooden one, like, if he were to miss time, I'd wonder what that would do to the interior of the D-line, which we have never had to even think about this year. Like,
that's been a pleasant
they've
surprise.
had depth, they've had unbelievably, and shout out to Kyle Williams and like Guillory and Bro and all these guys who are playing as backups. So that would put them under the microscope a lot more than I think Butler and Relaford's injuries kind of did. I don't know. It's kind of my feel of it.
Yeah.
Gooden's got how many snaps? Every snap I think they have a healthy rotation, but he's got more snaps than any DT for sure. I don't know about D lineman, but he's up there.
Well, before I go to you, Brune, on this, and Shea, I know you've been high on this guy, but Buddy Mathis seems to have really impressed the staff, and seems like that maybe that fifth DT up for them, and they really like. So, I mean, I don't know what his PFF grade was in terms of what he did, but obviously they trust him to kind of step up into a bigger role.
He might be the most consistent player snap-wise game to game because he plays like exactly 10 snaps a game every single time, which is a very good thing for a freshman to be playing consistently in that role. Patrick Payton had seven pressures. Bernard Gooden had 5 pressures. The funniest thing about this game, when you look at the PFF grades, which is why we continuously say this is a tool, this is not what I base my opinions off of. Jack Pyburn might have had the best game of a player that ended with a 55.7 overall grade. 55.7. He had 8 pressures. Now, what docks him is the fact that Lenore Sellers broke like 5 tackles. That's what docks him. But I think when we watched the game, like Jack Pyburn clearly played better than 55.7. He was just everywhere. So credit to him.
Yeah.
Defensive line I thought was good. Linebackers have been kind of hit or miss the past couple weeks for me. Devon Keys has had some struggles. West Weeks has had some struggles at times. Again, we're nitpicking to a degree, but I do think it's going to be interesting to see it going against a Vanderbilt team next week that, you have to have eye discipline for. You have to fill your gaps. You have to be consistent. You have to be physical. I'm excited to see it because they did exactly what I expected from them this week, and now they get another test next week.
How about A.J. Halsey's attempted swat at the ball as Sellers is going out of bounds? I went last night, got home, watched the recap. I'm like, oh my gosh, if he'd have got there a half a second sooner, that would have been
so cool.
One, it'd have been on SportsCenter's not top 10, but it would have continued to fuel the fire that Jamari Butler said on Tuesday. He said that A.J. Halsey is one of the smartest players he's ever played with. Just like his football acumen is just ridiculous in what he has. So, no, I mean, look, I think LSU has one of the best secondaries in the conference. We could probably say that in the country with what they've been able to do. Tamarcus Cooley tried to destroy somebody on that one penalty. That was just crazy. But he was going headhunting there on that one play. But no, I love the back end of this. It was one of those things where, Ralph's fronting me out in the chat. We watched the highlights this morning. I'm sorry. Morning. It was the morning, technically, because we got back so late. There we go. But I guess putting a bow, defense is fun. They're fun to watch. It's really good. Enjoy that. Let's just see what this offense can do. Before we talk about Vandy, I want to talk about our friends over at BetMGM. Hope you took advantage of those deals this past weekend. There's going to be more. Continue to do that. Make sure that you get that new player offer today. You can get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win. That's across the board if you just open up that new account. We're going to continue to unveil, and throughout the week we'll talk about those different deals with what you can get in terms of building some parlays, some profit boost there as well with BetMGM, the presenting betting sponsor here on the Bengal Tiger all season long. Brune, how did you fare in final lines?
I outlasted Addie's picks.
Oh, well, I got a text from someone and said Addie didn't lose that game. The SEC officially lost that game. So maybe that's but Addie did pick Auburn to beat Georgia, which was
I had
really
LSU
good.
minus 3.5 second half. Never a doubt.
Never.
LSU's defense does not allow teams to score in the second half. That's just that might just be the play for the rest of the season, honestly. I'm going to
get you a T-shirt that just has these definitive statements that you like to make. LSU doesn't lose in Tiger Stadium.
Nope.
LSU does not give up points in the second half, and we'll have to get a third one because 2 is just too weird on terms of spacing.
Yeah, I'll make a third declarative statement.
We need a third one. We need a third one.
But the LSU's defense, you don't score on them in the second half. It's just 17 points now in the second half in 5 games against FBS opponents. It's incredible.
It's really good.
It's really good.
We're getting mad at you. The third one is a 6-7 shirt for sure.
I can't
for
every
youth,
single time
for the kids.
Every time I've mentioned Trey Green, it's like, how tall is he? How tall is he?
Well, Bryce hit you with it last night.
Yeah, I'm too old.
Just so I'm being full disclosure, I had to Google that, and then
I'm way too old.
But I'm now caught up. So if you don't know, just Google 6-7.
Well, we did talk with Brune about.
I know it's a thing, but don't know what it is.
We did. I just joined in Maddie B.
No,
and
I told you I
Shea
wasn't
Archer.
Yep,
tonight,
you missed
Landon.
it. You missed it, Landon. Sorry.
Yeah.
Shea
Rewind
Archer
it.
just got back from Maddie B's apartment. It was brutal.
Yeah.
They were on camera
Brutal.
together going at it.
He had to switch cameras. Yeah, so
I
broke
did.
They're in the
the
same
fight.
room,
This
actually.
thing
right
ain't
now.
holding up anymore.
Yeah, it just went out on you. I guess, maybe early indications on Vanderbilt. Commodore's coming off a bye week. We watched them play last week against Alabama. I guess I'll just kind of throw my 2 cents in here because I know I don't get a chance to talk after you guys start going.
That's
So, in terms of this game, I think it's going to be, this is a team that's going to want to physically try to punish you. I told Brune this. I think there's a lot to go look at how Alabama's defense made adjustments in the second half against Vanderbilt. And I'm not trying to wave the big stick and say, oh, we little Vanderbilt. I think LSU's defense can overwhelm Diego Pavia and company. Like, that's what Alabama did. A lot of those guys up front, they just did a really good job of that. This kind of feels like the South Carolina game. I think Vanderbilt's better, but it feels like the South Carolina game in terms of you can't give them life. If you get a turnover, if you stumble out of the gate with multiple 3-and-outs, you start to build some momentum on that opposing sideline. That is what would worry me. I know Vandy opened as a favorite per some of the sports books today, so that's interesting. But I'll start with you, Shea, as we round out tonight's show with just an early look at Vandy. What's your initial gut feeling without going too much, since we haven't gotten to the nitty gritty of what this matchup looks like?
I can go short and sweet here. I'll couple it with what Maddie B said about 2 things. One, and I thought this was kind of where you were going, Bryce, and maybe not, though. I view it like South Carolina in the fact that, yes, there's Pavia, but does he have enough help around him to carry that beyond LSU's defense, which is so elite? I don't know if the answer to that is yes. I would think that they'll score 20 or fewer points. Mm-hmm. I also believe at this point that we have seen what the offense can do. We can be hopeful of these things. I, for some reason, just have a gut feeling that they're going to put up more than 20 on Vandy. I think this will be a game where LSU again wins by 10 or more points. Mm. And it may look different on the box score than it really was.
Shea's getting that early campaign for College Game Day for LSU.
Absolutely,
he is building. He is building the train.
Stay away, Matty B. SEC Network crew can come and hang out anytime they need. But
Brune, what do you think? What's that early gut feeling on this matchup?
Yeah, Vanderbilt to me, I agree with Shea. I think LSU's defense is going to be good enough and athletic enough to, I don't want to say keep them down, but not let them get some of this tricky stuff that they get at times. You watch the Bama game and you're just really impressed by the way that they sequence play calls. They do something they're just really well coached. So again, going into this game, I just believe in LSU's defensive staff. I believe in their defense personnel. You want them to get healthy. I don't know what the total is going to be for this game, but I again could see a lower scoring game.
Second half total.
We might just keep taking this. Yeah, Vanderbilt under 7.5 second half or whatever it is. But I do think, to go back to our earlier point, I think it's encouraging that Garrett Nussmeier was willing to throw the ball down the field and be more dynamic, hit trade as green. Aaron Anderson should be healthy and playing in this game. That's great. So you feel good about the pieces and where you're at if you're LSU going into this game. With that being said, now they have to step up. Now you got to put it together. Now you can't have the interception inside the 10, the fumble at the 1. You have to finish these drives at a certain point and make the most of your opportunities here. So I'm really interested to see it. Again, you're not playing in Tiger Stadium. Go make a statement. Win on the road against a ranked Vanderbilt team. It would be a very, very big win. I don't care how it comes, because then you got A&M the next week coming into town. So would be a huge win.
Bryce, I'm going to grab the mic here and play host because I'd like your answers here. Because I think that what Matty B saying, especially not being at home, his number one quote, Tiger Stadium, away, 11 a.m., if Nuss had the exact same game, but don't think about where the 2 picks were, anything like that, and don't think about the fumble by Juwan Johnson at the goal line. Let's just eliminate that from your mind. He throws for 250, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. The running game gets 150 plus, and a couple to a few different guys are able to combine for 100 total yards on their longest runs, like they did against South Carolina, and you get the LSU defense that you're used to, and you get the special teams you're used to, do they win?
I think they win by double digits.
I do too.
Like that's just that's my level. I mean, and if you want to throw me another bone, give me those 24 pressures or 26 pressures they had. And let's
be stacking them up over there. He's
cool. I don't think Pavi is going to be dropping back in the convention. Okay, Vanderbilt is significantly better than South Carolina. Everybody, for those watching at home,
yes,
this is not
they have played, and we saw the result of it. What was the score, like 70-10?
It was not pretty. Now Sellers didn't play for most of it, but yes, it was still not pretty in that aspect. But yes, if LSU plays like they just played against Vanderbilt, like if you have those numbers, if you have that performance,
you win
against
double
Vanderbilt,
digits.
Yes,
double digits.
You win the game with it. It's going to be interesting though if they can do it.
To your point, real quick before we get out of here, BetMGM, Vandy 2.5-point favorite as of Sunday evening, and the over/under is at 49.5. Brune, for people want to get in and they want to take advantage of that new player offer. I know you're legally, contractually obligated to give us to us on Friday. What would you go on Sunday though? Where are you hitting 49.5?
Give me the under. Give me the Vanderbilt under in particular, because that's going to be 28 almost at that point. No. 20.
It's simple math.
24.5.
49 minus 10 is 39. Is LSU going to score 39 points?
All right, that's the third thing on the shirt. So Shea's shirt is just going to say 10 with a less than.
10.
Sign.
Yeah,
they're going to win by.
It's going to be confused for 1-0 shirts, but no, there's nothing missing from my 1-0 shirt. It's a 10 shirt, and that's just the point. That's it.
No, it's we good. Bernie's been.
All right, wait. What's y'all's reaction to that? Nothing. Okay, that's basically a pick 'em, right? If you're on the road.
Yeah, I mean that's.
All right, is that fair? This is a pick 'em
I'd
game?
go LSU plus 2.5 and not think twice about it. To be honest with you.
Me too.
Okay, okay, hold on. I'm thinking about it.
He's looking at second half unders right now. So.
I'm thinking about it. First of all, this is not a walkover. This is y'all made it sound like this is a walkover.
No, I'm just trying to be positive about a team that's now about to be 7 games into the season and think that they should be able to beat a team with much.
Y'all just said y'all aren't thinking about it.
I'm not thinking about it, but I don't think
Bryce
about it.
Bryce just said he's not thinking about it.
I don't think about a lot of things. So.
He's gonna let Addy pick from the bucket and just say, "Yeah, I didn't."
Yeah, I mean, I've been betting off my kid for a month and a half. She's 6-1, so I'm good.
Maddie B, she put everything on the line for an underdog money line. You picked the easiest bet of the week, so calm down, okay? Let's not bring Addy into this.
I had to dig for that bet. Only one book had it. All right, only one book had because I should have just taken the under. But yes. Shout out to Addy for taking the Auburn.
All right. Well, wait. You're thinking hard about it, Maddie B. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking that LSU is gonna have to play its best game of the season to win this football game.
Well, 250 from Nuss with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks would not be their best game of the season. Bryce and I feel confident
if the same exact if you take this box score and put it for that game, I think they win by double digits. Would you feel they won?
Yes, I just said I would think that, but that's Vanderbilt. That was South Carolina. Like this is Vanderbilt. What are we talking about here? That team at LSU off a bye against one of the worst teams in the SEC at home is just gonna walk over and play that exact same game against Vanderbilt.
Well, in our hypothetical, they do.
We're just living in land.
That's exactly what we're saying.
That's what Shea said. Shea said, Bryce, if the stats
I answered it. I said yes, and then y'all like, yeah. So because of that, they're just gonna walk in and win. So
you do presume that they probably do not have the same offensive output.
No, I don't think. No, I don't think they average. I don't think they put up 420 yards on Vanderbilt. Is that crazy? Do y'all think they're posting 450 against Vanderbilt? What?
No,
I gave 30 more yards. Definitely not now.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a really, really tight game, and they're going to have to play their best game of the season. They're going to have to finish drives, and they're going to have to do what, again, I've said before, win away from Tiger Stadium, and put on an impressive showing. Because if this is going to be a playoff team, it starts Saturday. Starts Saturday. This is going to be very, very interesting.
What does 11 a.m. do to a BK LSU team?
I remember they beat the hell out of Mississippi State that year.
Mississippi State was terrible.
Right.
Hey, Malik. Hey, that was Jaden Daniels' coming out party.
It's Caleb Jackson's coming out party.
Someone's gonna have
it. Cut.
Yeah, that was the show.
How did you know that? Just out of nowhere.
No
That was
ball.
good.
I don't know. Yeah.
Ball knower.
Ball knower. Yeah, I'll just say this because we're trending towards a conversation where Shea's going to ask what the record away from Tiger Stadium is, and Brudy's
They're
going to.
wanting Brune out of fight, and I'm just not.
Yeah, we're not letting it
not
happen. So we're
doing
going to
it.
end the show here.
In the show, Bryce. Take
We
control.
appreciate you watching. Rob, go ahead and throw that into stream graphic. We'll catch you next time here on the Bengal Tiger podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in.